Consequences of worldly desires and heedlessness of hereafter. Salman Farsi, may Allah please with him, says, I am astonished at three persons. Salman Farsi, may Allah please with him, says, three types of persons seem so odd to me that when I think of them I cannot help laughing. A. He who entertains hopes about the distant future while death is after him. B. He who is heedless of Allah Ta'ala, but Allah Ta'ala not heedless about him, rather Allah Ta'ala keeps a guard over him. C. He who loves heartily, though he does not know whether Allah Ta'ala is pleased or displeased with him. As a matter of fact, the fear of displeasure of Allah Ta'ala should always prevent a person from laughing loudly. And three things keep me in constant sorrow to such an extent that sometimes I burst into tears. A. Separation from my friends, that is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sahaba radiallahu anhum. B. An anxiety about death, and C. Apprehension of appearing before Allah Ta'ala on the day of resurrection, when He will command me to go to paradise or hell. I know not where I will have to go. Someone dreamt that he saw Zura bin Awfa rahmatullah alayhi after his death and asked him, which is the best of virtues? He replied, keeping trust in Allah and restricting one's hopes. Sufyan Sauri rahmatullah alayhi says, Juhud, that is renouncing sensual joys and worldly things, consists in restriction of hopes and not in eating thick bread or wearing rough and coarse clothes. Dawood Tai rahmatullah alayhi says, if I hope to live till the end of a month, I would regard myself a great sinner. How can I hope to live so long when day and night I see people being afflicted with sudden disasters? It is related of Shaiekh Balkhi rahmatullah alayhi that once he went to visit Shaykh Abu Hashim Rumani rahmatullah alayhi, who was his spiritual mentor. The Shaykh saw that he had something tied up in a corner of his winding sheet. On his asking what it was, Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi replied, these are a few almonds gifted to me by a friend, and I wish you to break your fast with this evening. Abu Hashim rahmatullah alayhi said, Shaykh, do you expect to live till the evening? I never thought you would think like this. I'll never speak to you again. Saying this, he went inside and closed the door behind him. Kaka bin Hakim rahmatullah alayhi says, for 30 years I have been waiting for death to come. When it comes, I shall have no desire to delay. Sufyan Sauri rahmatullah alayhi says, I met a divine in a masjid at Kufa who said to me, for 30 years I have been waiting for death to come. When it comes, I shall have nothing to say to anyone, nor will anyone have anything to say to me, for neither I owe anything to anyone, nor anyone else owes anything to me. Abu Muhammad Jahid rahmatullah alayhi says that he accompanied a funeral and Sheikh Dawood Tai rahmatullah alayhi was also accompanying it. When they reached the graveyard, the Shaykh went over to a solitary place and sat there. Abu Muhammad rahmatullah alayhi also went and sat beside him. Then he said, it is easy for him to understand this journey to distant lands, Akhirah, who heeds the warnings given by Allah Ta'ala. But he who entertains long hopes about the future in this world becomes negligent in performance of good deeds. That which is bound to come, death is imminent, my dear brother. Take a word of advice from me. Accursed is that thing which turns your attention away from remembrance of your Lord Allah Ta'ala. One word more, all those who walk on earth must inevitably enter the grave, and at that time they will grieve over what they have left behind, just as they will rejoice over the things that they have sent abroad in advance to the hereafter. Now just think, the survivors, the heirs, quarrel over the very things that cause remorse to the dying man and file lawsuits against one another. Allah Ta'ala bestows 4 honors on a person who restricts his hopes. Faqi Abdullah Samarkandi Rahmatullah alayhi says Allah Ta'ala bestows four honors upon a person who restricts his worldly hopes. 1. He grants him to power to exert in devotions. 2. Grants him relief from worries. 3. Makes him content with small provision. And 4. Illumines his heart. The ulama said that four things illumine a man's heart with nur. 1. An empty stomach. 2. Associating with the pious. 3. Remorse over past sins. And 4. Restricting worldly hopes. And Allah punishes him who entertains high hopes about distant future with 4 types of afflictions. A. Makes him neglect the acts of devotion. B. Increases his worries about worldly things. C. Makes him ever greedy and anxious for increase in wealth. D. Deprives his heart of mercy and compassion. The ulama say that 4 things breed hard-heartedness. A. Eating too much. B. Bad company. C. Forgetfulness of one's own sins. D. High hopes about distant future. Therefore, man must not have great expectation about the distant future. He should rather fear lest he should breathe his last the very next moment. A hadith says that once Rasulullah ﷺ said to Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, if you wish to live with me in the Akhirah, be content with as many things of this world as are sufficient for a rider going on a journey, who stops a while on his way, and do not sit with the rich people, and do not regard a garment as useless till you have patched it. Abu Uthman Nahdi Rahmatullah alayhi says that he saw Umar radiallahu anhu on the pulpit delivering the khutbah wearing a patched garment with 12 patches. Tambihul Ghafilin. To get new episodes, click subscribe button.